In order to fully grasp where we came from and how we got to sitting in this classroom in southwestern Ontario, it is important to go all the way back to where it all began. Around 100,000 years ago, a band of Homo sapiens, or humans, began to migrate out of Africa and eventually settled the entire globe. They first followed the coast through India and Southeast Asia, and then they managed to go by sea to Australia. About 65,000 years ago, humans began to cross the Middle East and reach the shores of Spain. From here, humans spread in all directions until 14,000 years ago, when we crossed the Bering Ice Bridge. During the last ice age, the Bering Strait between Russia and Alaska was frozen over, making a nice bridge for people to cross into the Americas. From here, humans made it right to the coast of Quebec and followed both coasts south in search of herds and good farmland. By 10,000 years ago, humans spread across much of the habitable land. 5,000 years ago, Vikings bumped into Canadian shores, but they found the conditions too harsh to settle. In 1492, Spain was in search of trade routes to India, and Christopher Columbus bumped into the Bahamas and called the people he saw Indians. This is why we sometimes hear people calling our First Nations in Canada Indians. The regions of Mexico and Central America now speak Spanish because of Spanish colonialism. Shortly after, in 1535, the French crashed into the shores of Quebec, forever changing the landscape and culture. This is why French is the dominant language in Quebec. 150 years later came the British, beginning the era of British North America.